Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville and you are on the Lifeboat. Hope everyone's doing well. Hold on. Sorry, needed to get the old fan kicking. I am Captain Tommy Scoville and you are on the Lifeboat. Good to see you all. Hope you're all having a good weekend. This is one of the first days that I have had in this part of the world that was not well over 100 degrees. Today's been actually very, very cool. It's been threatening rain all day, and it's probably in the 80s or 90s maybe. But 90s around here always feels a little bit cooler than it does in other places. SPTV Tattoo Warrior live. Good to see you. Boltneck, glad that you're here. Tina Marie. Oh, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Good to see you. Harrison, glad you're here. What's up, everyone? This is Harrison. Jason P. So today we're going to talk about a subject matter that has been talked about ad nauseum, but needs to come up every once in a while. And it happens very often after we get a bunch of new people in, because we have a whole new group of people that are embarking on this journey to sobriety. Hello, squirrel. Good girl. People who are embarking on this whole journey of sobriety, and it has. Whenever that happens, we get a lot of people that come out with this mindset that sadly is something that we hear all too often. And that is the belief that once you have begun this process of getting sober, and once you have taken that chemical that you have been wrestling with your entire life and removed it from your day-to-day the day-to-day events of your life. You cut this out of your life. You're ready to do that. You're here. You're all in. You're ready to quit. You're also ready to quit having fun. This is something that virtually every single day of my life, I hear somebody say that it's okay. They realize that they can't live sober, that they're not any good at it. So they're ready to take life and all of that and put it in the rearview mirror. It's not going to be fun going forward. They know that, and they're ready to live with that. I personally find that disgusting, and we've talked about this from the very first day that I did the Lifeboat. If you intend to be miserable for the rest of the time that you're on this planet because you're not using, I would recommend that you continue to use. At least those people are happy from, for a couple of hours a day until the reality of their life kicks in. It beats not being happy ever. And there are so many people for whom sobriety is misery. And they're going to saddle up, and that's how they're going to live the rest of their life. They've had the fun that they're going to have. And now it's time to put all of that fun behind them and start living a responsible life. And it's okay if the fun is done. And that's simply not the way it is, people. I can truthfully and honestly say that I'm having more fun right now than I've ever had. However, it is not a given. It really isn't. It's not a given. It's a decision that you got to make every single time you get up. Every single time you get up in the morning, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. You got to get out the shaving cream or the toothbrush or whatever it is that you're going to do. And you have to make a choice that today is going to be a day that I'm happy. Today is going to be a day where I'm going to be filled with joy. And you have to live as if you're a happy individual until that becomes a reality, right? Not the fake it till you make it kind of mindset, but the live as if. Live as if you're already happy. And I'll tell you, some of it can be done with just straight tricks. I'm not kidding. Just straight tricks. And you say, how does that work? Like this. What I want you to do when you feel yourself starting to let things get away from you, and you feel yourself starting to get just a little bit angry, right? You feel yourself starting to lose that. Put a stupid crap-eating grin on your face and start talking with the biggest smile that you can force on your face, and watch what happens. Seriously, watch what happens to the physiology of who you are. If you start forcing a big Joker style crap eating grin on your face, It will absolutely change you. The physiology of what you're doing with your face will change how it is that that you are functioning. Think I'm wrong? Give it a try. It's very, very difficult to be miserable with a big smile on your face. It's almost impossible. And then take that to the next level. How do we do that? Well, we stand up a little bit stiffer. Hold on a second. I'm only a couple of hours sober. Sounds pathetic, but it's a start, I guess, right? It's so embarrassing to admit this. I just feel like I can be myself here, hopefully. Let me tell you something, Samuel Millbrook. The most impressive thing in all of sobriety is the first couple of hours. All right? What you've just done is epic. It's not pathetic by any stretch of the imagination. We live for the decision that gets somebody 2 hours sober. We are here because we do not judge people in any way, Samuel. But we are pretty damn happy that you have made the decision to start walking forward without booze in your life. And a couple of hours sober is huge. Every single person here started a couple of hours sober. 8 years ago, I started a couple of hours sober, right? There's no one here that didn't go through that process exactly the way you are doing right now. And I promise you, my brother, that this is the most important thing you could possibly do, right? That's it. This first couple of hours, and this is the Lifeboat participation trophy. Samuel, you made the first step. Miss Dragon just said that. And it's absolutely a fact. This is for you, brother, for stepping up to the plate and saying, I'm done, right? Now, it's awesome if you just started this tonight because you can start this happy, right? Don't think for one hot second that you have to give up happy because you're giving up your substance of choice, because that's utter BS. Happiness starts when those chemicals are out of your life. If you don't believe that, it's because you haven't been there. Happiness starts when you're chemical free. Happiness starts when you can face your day. You can go through the day with a smile on your face that you didn't have to pay for. You feel me? It is a very difficult process when you honestly believe that you buy your happiness $50 at a time, $3.50 at a time. That was a courageous post, says Johnny Scoville. And he's right. That's a courageous post. To come here and say, I'm only a couple of hours sober, especially if in your mind you think it's pathetic. But I'm telling you, my brother, it is the least pathetic thing that you've done maybe in your lifetime. You show up here and say that. For real, the pathetic just stopped, right? Pathetic is a very nice way, condescending way of saying, that we feel sorry for somebody, that it's sad. Your days of sad are over. If you've got a couple of hours and you're ready to move forward with that, then that's the reality of starting to put all of that in the rearview mirror, and you can start actually being happy. It is an awful lifestyle when we rely on a substance to bring us joy. That's right. If Tommy had been a couple of hours sober, he might not have robbed that last bank. That is a stone cold fact. If I had been a couple of hours sober, I might not have done a lot of the things that I've done in life. But you have an opportunity right now to start anew, and you're going to find a group of people here that have absolutely nothing but sympathy and empathy, because we've been there. We all know exactly what it felt like to take that first step and to show up somewhere where you assume that everybody there has their life in order. Right? Well, all of these people are here, and this guy's got a year of sobriety, and this guy's got 4 months of sobriety, and look at me. Everybody starts the exact same way. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Hey, it is rough. Make no mistake, it's rough, and it's going to be. But the best thing that you can do is communicate those emotions. One of the things that we joke about all the time around here is that if you pull everything inside and you hold it deep in like this, right, it will eat you alive and it will destroy you. If you allow the light to shine on things, then you'd be really surprised at how fast you can change from what you were into what you are to become. But every single day when that sun comes up in the morning and your feet hit the ground, knowing that today is the day that nothing is going to own me, Today is the day that there is not a chemical in my life that is going to own and dictate who I am or what I am. That's huge, people. That really is. That is the desire. Okay, hold on one second, people. Let's see here. I got to do a little backing up. Harrison S. Welcome to the Lifeboat. Harrison, I understand that that we've been awake for a little while. And I really, really appreciate the honesty. It is not. Hold on a second. One moment. Sorry. You know what? If somebody in the lifeboat needs you, I swear to you, people, the boat will stop. And that's just the way it is. And right now, somebody just give me 1 second. I promise you, I'll get this over really quickly. Sorry. Dead air and all of that jazz. All right. Sorry. This is an opportunity for you, Harrison. Harrison, if you've been up for a lot of days, you know the best part about quitting speed, the best part about quitting any upper is it is the greatest of all of the quits, because all you need to do is go lay down. All you need to do is go and lay down, and the start from that point on. Yeah. Okay. Now we're back. So tomorrow morning, there are people all over the United States and all over the world that are going to wake up tomorrow for the first time and say, you know what? Not today. Not today. If you've got 2 hours, that means that chances are you started today, the day that you didn't want to. That means tomorrow morning is the first day that you are going to start with nothing, right? You're going to get up. Now, I'm hoping that you are talking to a medical professional and all of that, right? That's all important stuff. The nice thing about coming off of speed is it is not a drug that you need to worry about tapering off of. Speed isn't that kind of drug. So you can cold turkey speed. You can do it all day long. Usually it just means that you're going to get a hell of a good rest. And you know what? Don't fight that. Give into that. Get all the rest you can possibly get. And when you get up and you start that first day of not being a slave, there's no other way to look at this, people. There isn't. If you don't see the slavery in this, my heart goes out to you, because it means that you're so lost in it that you know you can't see that you literally are owned by a substance. I did this for more than 3 decades, where my life and every decision I made was owned by a little black ball of tar that was in my pocket ubiquitously. Like there was never a time where this was not in my pocket for 3 decades. And everything that happened in my life revolved around that small black ball of tar, whether I was going to smoke it or sniff it or shoot it or whatever. But that was what made every decision in my life. Right. All of those decisions. Sandy Bauer says, absolutely, it's slavery. And you know what? She's 100% right. Hey, Harrison, I appreciate that you're here and you're being honest. You know what I mean? That's not easy. It's not easy to come here and say, I've been awake for 3 or 4 days. It's not easy to come here and say, I got 2 hours of sober. But when you're seeing things like that happening in our comment section, it's because the lifeboat is on fire. Make no mistake. It's exactly what it is. I mean, when we've got people who are announcing they're 2 hours sober on a 5 o'clock lifeboat, and we've got someone else that says, you know what, I've been awake for 3 or 4 days, then we're doing what this is supposed to do. We're reaching people who realize that the time has come to make a change. 1 second. Sorry. You know what's funny is I typed the word sorry, which I wasn't trying to do. Okay. I learned a hard lesson with a very hot gymnast blonde in college. Discovered she was so damn crazy because she was on meth. and then found out she was a stripper like 6 months later. That's tough, Ian. That is tough. There is definitely a correlation between sex and speed, and it's a difficult correlation. I mean, a difficult thing, because very often the problem is that I'm a pro at hiding it. Only my girl knows I have a problem. Harrison, I was that way. The only people that ever knew I had a problem were the people that had seen me sober, or my really close inner circle of friends. That's here's the deal. That's not necessarily going to be a problem in quitting. It really isn't. You're not, the fact that the world didn't know you were using, the world doesn't need to know you're quitting either. Obviously, your girl needs to know. Right? She's somebody that you obviously, yeah, Johnny says I can relate. Yeah, that your girl is obviously somebody that is important to you. She knows the truth. Yeah. Then she needs to know the truth about you going forward. But the rest of it is between you and your sobriety plan. The people that you build as your support group, the higher power, if you believe in one, how you assemble your sobriety package going forward right now is in your hands. I would say she needs to know. But the fact that the rest of the world you had snowed, with all due respect, everybody here was doing the same thing. In order to get as far into our addictions as we got, we had to be chameleons. We had to have the ability. People, I used to shoot dope and go on stage. I would stick a needle in my arm, and 4 minutes later, 5 minutes later, I would be on stage talking to hundreds of people. We just get good at what we do. We get good at the hiding the substance, because the reason you're so good at hiding this, the reason that the only person that knows is your girl, is because you have to control. I mean, you have to protect this damn addiction. With all due respect, it is as important to you as anything in this world, right? It's more important to you than the people that you're hiding it from. I'm not busting your chops, brother. I'm just telling you the truth, right? We become so involved in our drug addiction that we must protect it at all cost. And if I let this dude find out that I'm on dope, he's going to want me to quit. And if I let, my sister or my or my brother or a family member find out that I'm on dope, they're going to do everything within their power to make sure that I quit this stuff. I can't have that. Hell no. Right? So I have to keep this from everybody that isn't going to make me quit. And with all due respect, your girl didn't make you quit. Right? If your girl had made you quit, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be having this conversation. And it is your responsibility, make no mistake. But she was willing to put up with your lifestyle. You thought the other people weren't, which is why you had to hide your lifestyle from them. The more you protect it, the more isolated you become. The opposite of addiction is connection. And it's a fact, right? We have one person that we can connect with because they know that we're on this. Of course, the connection with them isn't going to be the same that it should be, because between us and that person that knows us is that drug, right? We don't really get the chance for real intimacy if we have a chemical in our body or in our life. And I know, for people who do speed, it makes sex a completely different thing. I'm sorry, Harrison. And the last thing I'm trying to do is bum you out, brother. I mean that, but it is the truth, right? It is the truth. And I did this, Harrison. If I wasn't more guilty of this than you were, I wouldn't feel comfortable saying this, but I kept it from everybody. And I usually kept it from my significant other. Mitch, well done. Day 42, no drink. Hope everyone is having a good day. And today was a bad day. And I hope tomorrow is better. If today is a bad day, I hope it's better for everybody. And you know what? It always is. It always is. When the sun comes up the following day, yeah. Christy says, Mitch, yay. And I am with, I think, everybody where we say, well done, Mitch. Fantastic. But I did this for so long, brother. I did this for so long. The people that I hid my use from were people who I knew were not going to sign off on my drug use. I couldn't let my brother know about it, right? My brother would freak out and he would say, oh my God, you're still using this stuff. I had to hide this from everybody in my life, or as much as I could. My brother always knew, but I sure did everything I could to not put this out, because my biggest fear was someone was going to try to take away my coping mechanism. Somebody was going to try to take away the one thing I had that enabled me to make sense out of life. Didn't matter that it was destroying everything. It was destroying my health. It was destroying my religion and my faith in God. It was destroying my relationships with everybody. It was destroying my sex life. It was destroying everything. Heroin was absolutely peeling my life apart, throwing it away. And all I could try to do was protect it, right? I was willing to give up anything for the protection of that substance because it was how I made life make sense. Why today is different is because today I make sense of life without the assistance of any chemical. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. Are there days it's harder? Oh, yeah, there are. But there are never days I have to make a phone call and come up with money to cope with the day. There's never a day where I feel the need to sedate myself so that I can cope with what my life is. And after 46 years of that, that means that every day, no matter how bad the day is, when the sun comes up in the morning, I feel like $1 million. T Product, good to see you. I just feel like, you know what? Today, no matter how bad the day is, no matter how much it craps on me, no matter how bad there are people out there that are going to do everything they can to make this day bad, I am in complete control over my life. The meaning of the one is that we're thinking of you, we're praying for you, we're sending positive messages to you, whatever it means, but it is always a, hey, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you kind of thing. Meth does the same, says Ian. Meth does the same. Crack did the same. Now fentanyl turning people into actual zombies. Sadly, it really is. And the xylazine, if I know that not everybody sees every Lifeboat. We've got some people that see all of them, and then there are people that don't. I've been working one-on-one with a guy that is trying to get off of the xylazine dope right now. Right? They are currently, as we speak, are trying to kick this, and they said, you know what? They don't care about the opiates anymore. This is someone that has spent 2.5, 3 decades on opiates. They said nothing matters anymore. Now the body is so addicted to xylazine that if he gets dope that doesn't have enough xylazine in it, he immediately has to go out and find more. It's terrifying what the drug landscape in this country is. And I would say to anybody that's doing speed, you're still in the same lottery. I don't know whether or not you realize that, but that stuff, if you're in the United States of America, that speed is coming across our southwest border, and it is coming across that border laced with all kinds of trash. They're doing everything they can to make their product more addicting. They're doing everything within their product to make their product necessary every single day, not an option. And opiates were great for that. Now they've got something that is even more addicting and even more devastating. Without this, you can seize up and die. Boy, you talk about a drug that somebody needs every single day, right? Without xylazine, you literally, this stuff, when we talk about benzo withdrawal, this is benzo withdrawal on steroids, which is frightening, but that's the world we're in. I was working with a homeless pill popper trying to help. The constant habitual lying was simply too much to deal with. You know what? That's kind of the story of my life. I understand where you're coming from. I think I was given a gift in that I spent so much time being that guy lying that I don't know. Maybe it has made me more patient. Maybe it has allowed me to I don't know. Maybe I just remember, but I deal with this every day. I've found out that denial is a hard thing to individually overcome. Hard. It definitely protects the addiction. I'm learning through therapy, supportive people, and places such as the Lifeboat to help me. You know what? I will tell you this, that I was unable to overcome denial alone. I couldn't do it. It took the help of my sponsor and my mentor. Q was the one that really kind of chipped through all of that. And look, I never denied that I had a drug problem. You understand? I denied the fact that there was no hope ever in ever getting control over it. There was a part of me that, up until the absolute very bitter end, hung on to I just haven't found the right combination of how I can do this dope and still manage to, because it's out there, right? That plan that I just haven't found in 46 years, that one was out there and I just hadn't found it. I knew there were other people who were successfully doing dope and not, they were chipping and they weren't getting a full-time habit. And if they could do it, I could do it. And I kept that going for decades. It was a very, very, it was an amazing day. The realization that that doesn't exist, right? There's no hope for that. The adventure guide says, I've hit rock bottom, literally. It went from the social half gram of Coke with the boys at a bar, and then it turned into 8 balls and 2 to 3 day no sleep. Now hubby is helping me boof small rocks. I'm lost. Yeah. For those of you who don't know what that means, it is another way of getting the substance into the body. Boofing it refers to taking it through the rectum, and if that sounds absolutely bizarre to you, it's probably because you just weren't in that life, because that's just not all that bizarre. It ends up becoming a bang for the buck thing, and people end up doing this. Well, rock bottom is a beautiful thing, and I mean that, adventure guide. It's for a lot of us, we can't get moving forward until we hit rock bottom. And if that's where you are, and we've all been there. This just happens to be a unique to cocaine, but that half a G that turned into an 8 ball, which is like 3.5 grams. And then that turned into staying up for a couple of days straight. Now we need to put this stuff behind you. And the important thing to remember is this, that the person inside, the you that made you who you are, is still there, right? We just have to remove this substance, and Coke's a tough one. The good thing about cocaine is that we really only have to get through about 5 days, right, before we start adjusting. Our brain chemistry starts to get back. It doesn't have the super long-term physical kind of effects. You're going to feel some physical withdrawal, but it doesn't have super long-term physical effects. It's going to just be a matter of you having to mentally change up an awful lot. But there are much worse substances to quit, and I have actually had to quit cocaine after doing pretty large amounts of it. I used to shoot quite a bit of Coke. I cannot do that drug recreationally. I cannot do drugs recreationally, right? Those days are over for me, because the risk that one could lead to the next is overwhelming. And maybe that hasn't hit everybody, but this thing that I've got now, right? This new sobriety thing that I've got, which has led to the Lifeboat, and it's led to the friendships that I've made with people all over the world, and it has led to this channel changing the lives of people. I'm protecting that the same way that I used to protect heroin, right? I'm super protective of this sobriety. The really funny thing too is that with addiction, you protect it by lying to everybody, and with sobriety, you protect it by telling everybody the truth. Right? It's counterintuitive. You do exactly the opposite when you get sober. You really do. It is the exact opposite. When I meet people, I immediately tell them who I am, right? What I am, how I have been, because I'm not going to accidentally put myself in a crowd of people that go, "Oh yeah, we're doing blow tonight. I forgot to tell you. You want to go snort some?" No. Everybody knows who I am very quickly. I am brutally honest about my past. I'm brutally honest about who I was, where I've been. I protect this gift, which is the most important gift I have. M. Hunt, I think there's something to that. He says, I can't help but look at nicotine and caffeine as recreational drugs. And I think there's something to that. Both of them, especially nicotine, they say it's dopamine level times 2. If you're using a substance to double what your dopamine level is, well, then you're most assuredly recreationally using that substance. I absolutely agree. That is something that I absolutely agree on. Let's see here. But I would try vicious honesty. I would try vicious honesty. I would start talking to all the people that I really care about, and I would open up and say to them, you know what, I have a drug problem. It started out with, a little bit of this, and it certainly led to a lot more of this. And now I'm finding myself doing things that I thought I would never do. You got to talk to your significant other. If you're boofing this stuff, you're doing it with help. Correct? How do you keep your heart in your chest, Captain? We are connected like legs of a centipede. We don't work unless we all work together, and that is you. How do I keep my heart in my chest? I have a very, very close group of individuals who I dump all of this stuff on. When I was living in the last state that I was in, I also had counselors that I used to go and see, and I'm going to be setting that up again here. I haven't had a chance to start that because of the health problems I had with my heart and everything else. But it's super essential that if you talk to people about their problems all day long, that you talk to somebody about your own problems on a very, very regular basis. In fact, in most states, if you have a license as a counselor, you have to log a certain number of hours seeing counselors as well. And because what I do is very similar to counseling, I spend a lot of time talking to people on the boat and opening up. I don't open up about things people told me. I open up about my feelings, and sometimes sometimes I'll be really honest, I get very, very weighted down. There are times where 5 or 6 people have problems that are epic, and you're doing everything you can to help these people. And just as you think you're starting to make a little headway, you'll get 2 or 3 people that will pop up on the radar at the same time that also need a lot of help. And this is a risk for what we do. And if I didn't acknowledge that and talk about that, I would probably be an ignoramus. If my brother was still here, he could tell you, I am very, very good about working that part of my program, realizing that what I do here is, can really take a lot out of you. And I'll tell you 10 things that I do to stay positive. And when you hear my checklist of 10 things that I do to remain positive, I think this might make more sense. And there is Johnny. Yep. Number 1, I keep a positive mindset. Cultivate a positive outlook by focusing on the good aspects of situations and practicing gratitude. In the midst of a crap storm, I don't care what the crap storm is, and I don't care how bad it is, there is always a silver lining to this. The people that reach out to me and send me emails and say, I saw 60 videos that somebody made about you. Yeah, well, at least they're making videos about me. Right? That would be the looking on the positive side of this, correct? There's a reason these people are trashing me, and it's because I'm over the target. It's because I'm getting something done, truthfully. So there's always a silver lining. I don't care what's happening. And if you start looking at that silver lining in every single thing, if you're looking for the positive, even if it sucks and you go, there's no positive in that, Tommy, of course there is. You can look at it and say, this is never going to happen to me again. I'm going to learn from this. I didn't learn in my past. When bad things happen, I allowed them to happen 15 times. Now I'm sober. This sucks. I'm going to learn from it. Right? That's a positive. It's not going to happen to me again. Self-care. Number 2, prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being through regular exercise, relaxation, and healthy habits. For me, the biggest thing for me, and I'll just be real honest, this is my crew, right? If I'm not getting sleep, we're in trouble. Personally, if my sleep gets out of whack, then we're screwed. You know what? Here's the deal on that. She says, I meant you thought up this cool little boat when you were in prison, and now we are a giant cruise ship with room for everyone. You have to feel you have a right to be proud. You know what? I'll tell you this. I'm proud of the Lifeboat. I really am. I'm super proud of the Lifeboat. I don't have any problem admitting that. I am massively proud of what we've done here. Massively proud. I've had a crap load of help. But I think what really, when I seem uncomfortable about things like that is when people say, you built this thing. I started this thing, to be sure. But the crew that got a hold of this thing and built it, they're all still here. I mean, there are very few of them that have left. It's been the crew members that have really taken this thing and turned it into what everybody loves. I'll take tons of credit for it. I will, but I didn't. But the big one is that, the big one is definitely that. Number 3, connection. Build and maintain strong relationships with friend, family, and a support community, because connection is the opposite of addiction. We all know that. Number 4 is mindfulness. Practice being present in the moment, which can help reduce stress and increase your appreciation for everyday experiences. If this one doesn't make sense to you, if the living in the moment thing sounds like some new age crap that you can't figure out, don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about the effects of what's going on. How is this affecting my future right now? What is it you have to do? Okay, live in that moment. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if you don't like it, right? So for the next 3 hours, I have to mop. I promise you, people, I have gotten spiritual mopping things. In prison, it's a job you get all of the time. And I got punished at Victorville, and anybody that's ever been to one of those federal built penitentiaries, there's a hallway that goes around the outside of the entire building, right? And if you mop it, it will take you 3 months. I'm not joking you. Like, you could get a Harley Davidson into 3rd or 4th gear in these hallways. They're massive. They go so far that sometimes you barely can see the next turn, right? And they would say, all right, you have to mop this. And I would start at midnight and I would mop until, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm telling you, some of the greatest spiritual growth I ever had was in that stupid hallway, all alone with a mop and just doing my thing, right? Not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about the past, living right in that moment. And it's been, that's been the mindfulness thing has been huge for me. 5, if you can find purpose, engage in activities that align with your passions and values and gives you a sense of meaning and fulfillment. You know what? Being in someone's 5, having someone that relies on you and calls you and says, I'm in a bad way, and you talk them through it, what that will do for your sobriety, what that will do to make you feel like you are part of something much larger than what you are. The reason that the crew of the Lifeboat has taken ownership of this channel the way that they have is because the tentacles of people who are helping other people have coalesced to pull this thing into something that is so much bigger than anybody that ever thought it up or had anything to do with it. Right? You couldn't kill this boat. You could probably run somebody off of it, but you sure as hell couldn't kill it. Somebody would rise up and take the place because it's bigger now than what anybody ever dreamed it could be, for real. 6 is acceptance. Embrace yourself. This is a good one, people. Embrace yourself, flaws and all, and let go of the need for perfection. Acceptance leads to greater self-love and contentment. And I got news for you. None of you are going to be perfect at anything, right? Seriously, perfection doesn't exist. Sadly, a lot of us start doing dope because we're not perfect. A lot of us start drinking and drugging because we're not perfect, or we're not comfortable, or we're not, we don't feel like we can be ourselves in a crowd if we don't have this. It's always something that we feel we're lacking, and the booze gives us that, or the drug gives us that. But I got news for you. It's very much like the Wizard of Oz, in that whatever that substance is doing, all it's doing is lowering an inhibition. It doesn't bring out a personality. If you think drugs bring out your personality, then you're just wildly ill-informed. All it does is allow you to be who you are. It lowers your inhibition. And if you don't think that can be done without drugs, start a YouTube channel, right? Navage your nose, vomit up some milk. Just start a YouTube channel and come out and learn that you can be yourself. You can lower all of your inhibitions, and you can do all of it without dope. Perfectly imperfect. I love that. SP TV Tattooed Warrior. Nailed it. Number 7, forgiveness. Release resentment and grudges, freeing yourself from negative emotions that can hinder your happiness. Forgiveness. Release resentments. You can forgive somebody, right? And not like them. You can forgive somebody and not have any respect for them. You by forgiving, you're letting go. You're giving away the emotion to something else, right? What does it mean? It literally translates to give away, right? So when you're forgiving, you can give it away to love. You can give it away to a higher power. You can just say, I love this person so much, I'm going to forgive them. If you have kids, you know what this one feels like, right? We've all done that. I don't care what he did. He's my son. I don't care what she did. She's my daughter. I can forgive her for anything. I can forgive him for anything, right? But when we start to forgive people for things that we think they did to us, we free ourselves. We don't free them. Those people forgot about us eons ago, right? Think of the person you're holding a grudge against, that person that you just cannot bring yourself to forgive. Do you think they're out there right now going like this? Oh man, Tommy won't forgive me. I'll bet you Tommy's out there somewhere right now just hating on me. And it's ruining my day. None of those people had any idea that, or if they did, they certainly didn't care. They went about their life. I was the one that this hate was dragging down. I was the one that this was actually, what does that actually entail, Tommy? Forgiveness. I have someone I have refused to forgive, but I don't know what it would look like if I did. It feels like giving him a pass. Carol, that's a great question. And you know what? I understand the sentiment because it does, doesn't it? Feels like we're giving him a pass. But here's the thing. In not giving him a pass, you're not giving him anything, right? By holding on to this, you're not punishing them. You're punishing yourself. So forgiveness comes in my life. Forgiveness comes in a couple of different colors. And in the first color, it goes like this. If my brother Johnny does something to bum me out, right? He's my brother Johnny. I assure you, I'm going to forgive him for it. We're going to have a conversation about what bummed me out, but I'm going to forgive him for it. That's the first color. The second color of forgiveness is the person that I don't intend to have anything to do with anyway, right? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll talk to them occasionally at a party. Maybe I'll see them somewhere. But for those people, or someone that's gone, I'm never going to see him again or whatever. But for the people that aren't important to me, for the people that aren't family, for the people that I don't love, I'm giving away all of that anger inside me. Forgiveness is me giving that away. It's me getting rid of that anger. Am I giving them a pass? No, I'm getting them out of my life. I'm not allowing them to rent this huge spot in my head, because that's what happens when we don't forgive. We say, I'm not going to give this person a pass. But what that really means is I'm going to take a huge chunk of my brain, right? And I'm going to damage it. I'm going to damage it. I'm going to damage it by keeping this little ball of shit, pardon me, this little ball of hate is going to just stick in here, right? And I got to feed it. You have to feed that hate, because if you don't, it loses its effectiveness in your mind. See, we get this thing in our mind that this person doesn't deserve my forgiveness. Do you deserve to be let go of all that BS? That's the question. Forget what they deserve. They may deserve the gas chamber. It's got nothing to do with you. What do you deserve? You deserve freedom from that situation. You deserve to step forward out of that and go, done. I'm not carrying that bag of crap around with me anymore. When we haven't forgiven somebody, that's what we've got. We got a backpack with 200 pounds of crap in it, and we carry it around and we nurture it. We got to water it. We got to talk to it, right? We got to keep that anger, that hate, that righteous indignation, any of those things. We have to keep those things going. And they take a massive amount of energy to keep that going. And I did this for years. My ex-wife, I've talked about this on the boat. My fault, by the way. My fault. Drove her into the arms of another man. That's the truth. I was a jackass. But my ex-wife not only had left me for another guy, but had also stolen my identity and done all kinds of stuff. And I had been very open that I couldn't bring myself to forgive her. And I can't tell you how much better my life got once I got over that. Once I got over it. And I journaled about it for over a month. And I came to the realization that, she did me dirtier than anybody in the entire world could have ever done anybody. But if she was with this Tommy, that wouldn't have happened. I assure you, wouldn't have. There wouldn't have been any dope involved. There wouldn't have been any drinking involved. It would have been completely different. And in the beginning, when we weren't doing any of that stuff, we had a pretty good marriage, in all honesty. But it was my habits and my lifestyle that brought all that down. And coming to that realization was huge for me. Coming to the realization that even the people that I really needed, right? The people that needed to beg me for forgiveness, right? Because in all honesty, they did some pretty messed up stuff. They did some pretty messed up stuff to a pretty messed up guy. I'm not saying that's you. How do I do it? For me, and this doesn't work for everybody, but for me, I pass it off. I literally do. And I do it, for me, it's ceremonial. And this won't work for everybody. But for me, I talk to a higher power. And when I do, I say, I'm done with this, right? I'm done with this. We can give her a name. We'll just call her E. But I went to my higher power and just said, you know what? I've been dragging this around forever. This hate and this righteous indignation for the fact that she cheated on me. I want this gone. I had a little ceremony. I wrote her a really long letter, right? I wrote my ex-wife a really long letter, and I said everything that I wanted to say. I didn't mail it to her. I don't want her in my life. I don't want her apologies. I don't want anything. I want to move on. I want nothing in my backpack, right? I want to walk through the rest of this life feeling like I weigh, 200 pounds as opposed to 700 pounds or 900 pounds. And she was just one of a whole army full. And for me, I need a ceremony. I need a ceremony in everything that I do. So I get out a piece of paper and I write this person a letter. And I tell them why I think that they owe me an apology. And the amazing thing was that by the time I was done writing this letter, I was apologizing to her. I'm not saying that you're going to be in that situation. Maybe it's a completely different thing. In my case, in spite of the fact that there was cheating and there were all of those things, had I been the person that I was supposed to be, then none of those things would have happened. None of them. I just jump in the deep end. Well, there's something for that. There really is. Oh, and there goes the cat. Squirrel is on one. But if it sounds like I'm lecturing anybody, I'm not. It took me, the Lifeboat was up and running for a year and a half, and I had not forgiven my ex. I had not forgiven, there were two people in particular, and the other one I won't mention because I can't. It was a man that I had lent money to a long time ago, and I never got the money back. And you know what? It's irrelevant. It is. It's absolutely irrelevant. The number of people I ripped off, and I was pissed off at this guy about some money. I mean, it was the number of people that I stole from, and I have righteous indignation over a couple of $100 that I lent a guy that he didn't give me back. Sadly, I held that grudge so long that me and this guy will never be friends. We won't. I destroyed that. I held that hate for too long. And you know what? It was just money. It was just money. And the truth of the matter is this guy had a drug problem. That's why he lied to me. You would think of everybody on the planet that I could forgive somebody for lying to you about drugs, right? But it was personal because he has no reason to lie to me. He could lie to everyone else in the world. What difference does it make? He knew I had a drug problem. Why? It was different with me. No, nothing's ever different. We convince the hell out of ourselves that it is because we want righteous indignation. We want the ability to say, I'm right on this one. I did. Not we. I needed that. I needed that feeling of superiority that I could have over my ex because she was the one that made those mistakes and she's the one that stole from me. And that was so important to me until I realized that all of it was my fault anyway. And that doesn't mean that's what any of you are going to find out. But that's what I found out. And the way I found out about it was I put pen to paper, right? I spent a crap load of time with pen to paper. And I write letters to people that are never going to get them. I do that so often it would blow your mind. How does it actually look? I write letters. I get everything that I need to say out. I write letters to dead people. I don't think you can imagine the number of letters that I've written to my father apologizing. And I apologized to him when he was alive. But something will come up and I'll think, I wish I had specifically said sorry for that, because that was an ugly scene. And I wish that I had specifically, I'm not going to sit and do that wish thing. I know how that happens. I know what that does to me. I spent a life doing that. So I sit down and I write him a letter. And when it's over, I feel better. And I've been recommending this to people since the Lifeboat started. Write a letter. I've seen people write letters to people that victimize them, letters that they're never going to mail. But our job from today until we get off of this planet is to do two things. One is to never be owned by another chemical again, as long as we live, right? And two is to successfully navigate this life happily without those chemicals. Now, in order to do that, we actually have to work on things from our past. And every single trick to every single thing that we do starts and stops right here. Every single time. There's no other way around it. If you say, I'm someone that's just not going to journal, then you're someone that's just not going to find the answers. They don't come up to you and knock on the door and tell you, hey, I'm your answer. I'm going to tell you why you're bummed out. No, you're going to do it with a pen and a piece of paper. I promise. It's how it's going to come out. It always does. The I should never have done that hits me constantly. Of course it does. Of course it does. This is also a really important thing. This is a super important thing. And anyone who's ever been through any kind of a program has written a goodbye letter to their drug of choice. Why do we do that? Why? The reason that it is so important that you write a goodbye letter to your drug of choice is because your drug of choice has taken on, you know what? Sometimes people are really funny. You aren't at the helm. The reason that we journal, the reason that we do all of the things that we do, the reason we write goodbye letters to our drug of choice is to say, I know you were running the show, right? So this girl that I lied to and these people that I stole from and these things that I did, that was you. That was you. That wasn't me. That was you. And you're out of my life. You hear me? You're done. I'm never going to let you take the wheel again. From this point forward, come hell or high water, Tommy's taking the wheel, right? I'm taking the wheel. I'm never going to let heroin have anything to do with the navigation on this boat ever again. It's not going to happen. And for me, it was very personal when I made that letter to heroin where I was talking directly to it, where I said, I gave you everything and it wasn't enough, right? I gave you everything. Everything. I stopped loving people. I gave you all of my money. I stole. I gave you my freedom. I gave you my belief system, right? I gave you everything. And heroin gave me nothing. It just took from me. It took my veins. It took my health. It took my sanity. But coming to grips with the fact that that was the shit that was destroying my life. And that was the stuff that was at the wheel, that it wasn't me anymore, right? It wasn't me. And that crap's never going to be anywhere near the captain's quarters, I assure you. It'll never be anywhere near there again. And I have forgiven myself for allowing that crap to take the wheel. But I'm not taking any crap. I'm not going to beat myself up for the things that I did when I had no control. Nobody in their right mind walks into a bank and says, put all the money up on the, right? Give me all the cash, top drawer, bottom drawer. Nobody does that. Nobody in their right mind does that. I was not in my right mind. I did it more than once. I wasn't in my right mind. I look back on it and I go, that wasn't me. And I promise you people, it wasn't, right? So how do we move on? We come to the realization that the person that had no control, well, they surrendered that control. They surrendered it to a bottle of Chardonnay every night for 5 years. Or they surrendered it to a needle and a spoon, right? And a dirty hotel room. Anybody? Leonard? Skinnerd? Okay. All right, people. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like we've done a lot of these shows in a row. I don't know how many I've done, but I feel like I'm on a run. So I am going to go take a nap. I really could use a nap. I've been up, I think I got up at 3. So, but I love this boat and I love all of you on it. And I'm so blessed to be able to sit in this seat. I really appreciate the fact that you guys allow me to work through all of the things that I work through while I sit here. I worked in banking for years. What did that say? Before I had to stop working. It blows my mind that you did that. I'm sorry, Terry. I really am. It blows my mind that I did that too, if you want to know the truth. It really does. And it's certainly not something I'm proud of. But I did it. And I did it a lot. There was nothing I wouldn't do for drugs. And for the people who got scared when I never used a gun or anything like that, but I know I scared people. It's not cool. Nothing that I did then was cool. It wasn't. That's why I don't do that's why this isn't a crime channel, because there was nothing cool about that time in my life. There really wasn't. All right, peeps. I will be back to see you tomorrow. Oh, no, it's the limits on drawers and junk. Well, I mean, I would do top drawer and bottom drawer. So you should send me an email so that I don't tell everybody here how to rob a bank. But I would love to talk to you about that. That might be fun. I am Tommy Scoville, and this is a cat in a basket, and a good one. Oh, a good kitty. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. I'm Captain Tommy, and that is Squirrel Nut Zipper. Good night.